After you hear what we're going to release today, I'm going to ask for your continued support.
I keep losing connection.
Your empathy and compassion as we move forward to find out who did this, and we will. We're seeking the public's help to identify the driver of a vehicle that was parked at the old CPS DCS welfare building in the city of Delphi that was abandoned on the east side of County Road 300 North next to the Hoosier Heartland Highway between the hours of noon to 5 on February 14th, 2017. If you were parked there or know who was parked there, please contact the officers at the command post at the Delphi City Building. We are releasing additional portions of
Hey, Tanny.
from that day. Please.
Hey, Love Hollister. Can y'all hear?
The person talking is one
Hey,
person
Kim.
that is the person on the bridge with the girls. This is not two different people speaking. Please listen to it very, very carefully. We're also releasing video recovered from Libby's phone. This video has never before been previously released. The video shows a suspect walking on the bridge. When you see the video, watch the person's mannerisms as they walk. Watch the mannerisms as he walks.
Can y'all not hear?
Do you recognize the mannerisms as being someone that you might know? Remember, he is walking on a former railroad bridge. Because of the deteriorated condition of the bridge, the suspect is not walking naturally due to the spacing between the ties. During the course of this investigation, we have concluded the first sketch released will become secondary as of today. The result of the new information and intelligence over time leads us to believe the sketch, which you will see shortly, is the person responsible for the murders of these two little girls. We also believe this person is from Delphi, currently or has previously lived here, visits Delphi on a regular basis, or works here. We believe this person is currently between the age range of 18 and 40, but might appear younger than his true age. Directly to the killer, who may be in this room. We believe you are hiding in plain sight. For more than 2 years, you never thought we would shift gears to a different investigative strategy, but we have. We likely have interviewed you, or someone close to you. We know that this is about power to you, and you want to know what we know. And one day, you will.
He's upset.
A question to you. What will those closest to you think of when they find out that you brutally murdered two little girls? 2 children. Only a coward would do such a thing. We are confident that you have told someone what you have done. Or at the very least, they know because of how different you are since the murders.
Bless his heart. He's having a hard time. Hey, Crazy Nurse Granny. Hey,
We
everybody.
try so hard to understand how a person could do something like this to two children. I recently watched a movie called The Shack.
Yeah, ma'am, I agree.
And there's also a book that talks so well about evil, about death, and about eternity. To the murderer. I believe you have just a little bit of a conscience left. And I can assure you, they're experiencing
guys.
today. To the family, I hope that you all will give them some time, because we're going to be asking that there's no media inquiry or no media response for at least the next 2 weeks, and I hope you understand why. The family found out about this information this morning.
Same here, Granny.
Know that when I take my last breath on this earth, I'll be thinking of them. There's going to be a tremendous amount of questions. I know that. Never in my career have I stood in front of something like this. Please be patient with us, please. We're just beginning. We are just now beginning. And I can tell you on behalf of the sheriff and the police chief, so many other partners that have stood with us over this period of time, that we will not stop.
Thank you, Kay, for the super chat. Yeah, they know who it is, I believe. Sorry if y'all can't hear. It's the best I can do.
I just unveiled the person that we believe responsible for the murder of these 2 little girls. So I invite media to take a look at that now. It's not up. Kim.
There he is, guys.
We're also going to show you a video not previously released that the superintendent spoke to, and also the audio that's additional to what's been previously released. There's only a slight change in it. So give Sergeant Riley just a second as he gets that up and ready.
Sorry, Lisa. He looks young. Yeah, Beth, I believe they do. Crap.
Stand by for the video, please. There is no sound of the video.
Crap, I lost connection. There's the guy walking.
As Superintendent Carter mentioned, he is on the railway bridge. You have to take different steps to get to it. This information later this afternoon will be on the State Police website. For the community that's here, we have 100 copies of the news release. If you put in that URL, you'll be able to get to that site to play it. And we also have that same release for you in the media. And the rest of the state will get that release in about 15 minutes. So we appreciate those of you that came here. This concludes our announcement. Thank you for your time, patience, and courtesy.
I want to bring in retired FBI agent Bobby Chacon once again and legal analyst Joey Jackson. Wow. Before we get into what they released that was new, including a sketch that is completely different than what we have previously seen, Bobby, he spoke directly to the suspect who he believed was in the room. And you may at home be wondering, well, police or reporters, but this was open to the public. He seemed to believe that this guy is actually enjoying the process and witnessing it himself.
That's right, and not that he was in the room, but he could be in the room. And he made another mention that he was enjoying or wanted to know the information that the police knew. My hope is that this was based on a criminal profile from all profilers who put this together based on a number of different factors, and they determined that this is the way to speak to this person. So a lot goes into the words chosen, and hopefully that the superintendent picked those words with the help and assistance of the profilers and the criminal psychologists who, have built this profile of this person now and says, this is how we should talk to him to get the best effect as we can with this time that we have to speak with him. So my feeling is that there was a criminal profile built, and this was a result of that.
I would imagine one line you're referencing to is when he said, I believe you have a little bit of conscience left. Speaking directly to him, would you say that's pretty accurate?
I do, and so based on the profile, there's different ways to talk to people. So you wouldn't use those same words for everybody. So those words are very specific, and all of the words and the way he spoke and his mannerisms were geared towards the person that they think as part of the profile. So if it was a different type of profile, the mannerisms and the tone would have been different. Sometimes you challenge a suspect. Sometimes you acquiesce to a subject. So it all depends on what's in that criminal profile, and that dictates how you deal with the person publicly, as they clearly want to have a dialogue with this person publicly.
I want to go straight out to Susan Hendricks. She was there inside that press conference. Susan, you had expected to be joined by the family just afterwards, and they decided that they were not going to speak to the media. They were extremely emotional based on this new information. Walk me through what it is that what you are hearing, and a little bit about the press conference and what we learned.
Lynn, can you hear me?
Yeah, Susan, can you hear me?
Yeah, oh, sorry
Okay,
about
go
that.
ahead.
Yes, there's a lot
No
going
worries.
on because they were playing the recording, and there's a lot of media outlets here who wanted to hear that recording again. And there's just a buzz in the room, people shaking. The picture of the suspect now, a whole lot younger, Lynn, than we first initially thought, between his 20s and 30s. Also, we were about to speak to Mike and Becky, the grandparents of Libby, but they were told by police, look, we don't want you to talk to anyone. We know you're going through a lot. You saw extra video that you hadn't seen, because again, the family members heard just about 15 minutes before us. And let's listen in here to some more questions being asked about the car.
The vehicle was parked at the old CPS DCS welfare building, abandoned on the east side of County Road 300 North, next to the Hoosier Heartland Highway. That was between the hours of noon and 5 on February 13th. I do not have a description.
Can you get the description one more time of the vehicle?
One more time for everybody that didn't get that. We're looking for the identity of the driver of a vehicle that was parked at the old CPS DCS welfare building that was abandoned on the east side of County Road 300 North, next to the Hoosier Heartland Highway, between the hours of noon and 5 on February 13th. That's all the information I have.
So Lynn, we're going to pick it up from here. He's discussing an abandoned car. Further investigation led them to this. And the superintendent, Doug Carter, said, I am not willing to give up on this. He choked up. He spoke directly to the person who did this and said, we believe that you have a bit of conscience in you, and we do know that these girls are not in the same state that you left them in. And I could hear some cries in the room. Family members were here as well. They had heard beforehand. And I also looked over at a detective that I spent a significant amount of time with when we were here 2 months ago. And he was holding his head down before this began and tearing up, and I could see the anguish in his face before we were able to hear what we did and see this face. It is chilling. He looks very young and saying, Superintendent Doug Carter, we believe that you were hiding in plain sight. We believe that you live in Delphi. We believe that you are still here, and we will find you. And they played the video, so we noticed, Lynn, the mannerisms, the way people walk. I can identify friends of mine, the way that they walk, the way that they handle themselves, and also the way that they talk. There was more of that audio, as you heard, saying, guys, go down the hill. Guys, go down the hill. Not just down the hill. And he said, I want you to keep in mind that it's not two people speaking on this recording. It's just one. And here is the guy. And he is significantly younger than what we initially thought. And I'm shaking right now after hearing that, because he lives here. He could be here. He's around and may need information
Good
to
Lord.
make that arrest, but they say, look, we're moving in on this.
And Susan, as you point that out, one of the things that sent chills down my spine is when he said, the killer may be in this room. And as you said, you may be hiding in plain sight.
I'm shaking,
You
yes.
didn't
Oh my God, guys. I'm sorry about the audio. I had to use my big screen here. So this is a young guy. Gosh, this is the first time I've ever live streamed through this phone, and it's not letting me type into the chat for some reason. I don't. Let's see, it says rotate. Hi, Shahid. Oh yeah, guys, this is blowed my mind. I thought we were dealing with an older guy here. That police officer was so upset. I did not think he was going to get through the news conference. His face was really red. I don't know if y'all could tell. His face was blood red. I'm good, Shahid. How are you? See what you're saying. I bet he's shaking in his boots right now. But you know, a lot of killers, such as the Zodiac Killer and the Unabomber, they like the attention from the news. Such a different picture. I can't believe how young he is. Do you guys, I bet he knew the girls. Because if Delphi is a small place like where I'm from, you know everybody. You may not know someone's name, but you recognize their face or you know their family. Yeah, maybe it is a neighbor. Maybe it is. I'm going to walk right over here for a second, guys. It could be a neighbor. Yeah, crazy granny. That's the way it is here, too. It is very small. I mean, sometimes I don't even lock my doors at night. But I have tried to get in the habit of doing it, of making sure my doors are locked. This is crazy, guys. I hope everybody can hear good. This is the first time I've ever live streamed through this phone. Yes, Love Hollister. I agree. Yeah, I've started to. I'm bad before I go out there and on the porch at night and yell at Sonny and tell him good night a lot to forget to do that, but I've started reminding myself of it. It's good for you. Okay. Thank you, Tanny. I'm sorry. I don't know how to do all that fancy stuff like the other channels, how they stream it and stuff, but I'll figure it out in time. Infomercials. Oh my gosh, I've got to quit watching those. I watched one of those and ended up ordering the airbrush makeup, girl. I don't want to get off topic too much right now. Thank you, Herbie. Thank y'all. Y'all so encouraging and nice. I love Joey Jackson, guys. Love Joey. He's so intelligent. I could turn it back up a little bit.
It gives the police that much more information. And so to the extent that it's been 2 years, to the extent that this was horrific, remember covering it when it first happened on the trail, 14, 13-year-old, wow, how could someone be so inhumane? But we're at the point now where the police really believe that this is the direction they need to focus on. They have that composite sketch, they have the audio, they have the video, and they're asking for you, and you, everyone watching that, hey, if you have any information and you could at least assist us just a little bit, we think we'll be that much closer to finding this person. And, you know, we always say bringing them to justice, but what does justice really look like when you have a 14 and 13-year-old that are dead and just are not going to be here any longer? But certainly anyone responsible needs to be held accountable.
Bobby, when you look at that new vehicle that they've announced, can you identify whose vehicle this was, who this person was that was driving it? Why they have released the information now, I keep going back to, and why they held it for so long. What's the strategy there, especially when you have a composite that looks completely different? I mean, what new information could lead them to believe that it's a different guy than what they had put out in the beginning?
So you take investigative steps and you don't put out stuff to the public that you don't need to, and you only do it when you need to, because this is a strategic investigative decision. These are the most tragic cases we can work, and me and my team have been involved in a lot of child recoveries, and it never leaves you, and you saw a little bit of that. But the other thing that the superintendent did was he not only spoke to the killer directly, he spoke to the community directly. So he told them, if you've seen this car, look, because they've obviously done all the investigative work they can do on that vehicle, and it hasn't developed for them. So now they're asking for the public's help with the car. They're also going to track the public's reaction to this. So, in other words, they want to shake this guy up. If this guy wants to suddenly leave town because he's being so confronted so directly, everybody in that town is going to be looking at each other. So what the superintendent did was a smart move. Everybody is going to say, oh man, this could be somebody that hangs out with at the bar I go to or the ball field I go to. So now they're all going to be looking at each other. And if the killer makes a mistake, if he tries to leave town or quit his job or do something like that in response to being so directly challenged, now other people are going to notice that change. They're going to notice, hey, my cousin just left town, or this guy quit his job really quickly. So the community now has been energized. It's been notified that it's somebody among us. We need to start looking at each other. Look to your left, look to your right. And that's going to stimulate a lot of conversation in that community. And if that killer gets desperate and starts to make mistakes, the community is now on high alert, and they're going to be looking at each other, and hopefully they'll see something.
Yeah, it seems incredible smart detective work. I mean, he pointed out, listen, this is a guy who you will likely have noticed changed after the murder, giving us a timeline. Notice what he walks like, notice what he looks like, notice how even he decided to behave since February 13th, 2017. A short break. We're going to return to the Delphi murders after this.
Okay, guys. Hey, Will. I was listening to that. Couldn't say hi. Tried to wave. Hope you have a blessed day. I really enjoyed your video while you was driving the other day. Megan's birdie, Liv Hollister. Big winner. Crap. I couldn't say the name. Crap. I'm not used to this live stream, y'all. Okay. There I am, guys. Well, to me, the new sketch does not look like that guy walking on the bridge unless he's lost weight. To me, I thought he looked like an older guy, the guy in the sketch. Hey, Megan. Katie, thank you for the super chat earlier. I appreciate that. I'll try to get a little bit better at covering these news things. I'm going to find out how you can stream that. I probably have to have another laptop or Chromebook or something. But anyway, thank y'all for stopping in. I'm going to get off here and get some things done. I just wanted, well, OBS, Kate, is not compatible with my Chromebook for some reason. I tried to do that back when the Watts confession was coming out, and it's not compatible. Hey, Mary Quite Contrary. Hey, Rosalie. I shared the legend of the dogwood tree that you sent me yesterday. But anyways, guys, y'all take care. Leave me comments below y'all's opinions if you want to. And I may see y'all tonight. I'm not sure. I'm going to try to do evening live streams at least a couple times a week. Anyways, I love y'all. Bye. Thanks for your support.